Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
I can hear the enthusiasm. All right, so Canto 8, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations. We are continuing for Chapter 16, Executing the Paya Vrata Process of Worship. Text 22. Shri Aditi Vacha Kenaham Virina Brahman Upastasya Jagatpati Yata Me Satya Sankalpo Vidadyat Samanoradam Shrimati Aditi said, O Brahmana, tell me the regulative principles by which I may worship the Supreme Master of the world so that the Lord will be pleased with me and fulfill all my desires. So she's asking her husband what to do because of the situation of the demigods being usurped by the demons. So she asks her husband if he could provide some solution, to which he said he can't, but the Supreme Lord can, and he's going to help her. So the Prabhupada says in the beginning, a person may desire many things. So we all have so many desires, right or not, Tulsi? So many things we want. So, but many of these things are actually indirectly or directly fulfilled by the Supreme Personality of God. No one else can actually fulfill them. Because even if you say I worship a demigod, that sanctioning is given by the Supreme Lord also. And then here, Srila Prabhupada wanted to highlight the fact that Satya Sankalpa, that her desire, she wants to be fulfilled. So it's very important, Prabhupada says. But how is she going to get that? That can only be fulfilled by the Supreme Lord, to which her husband, Kashyapa Muni, is going to give her the information. And then Prabhupada also makes another comparison, the wife asking the husband to a disciple with the spiritual master. So he says a disciple must first decide that he should worship the Supreme Lord. That means you must really want to worship the Supreme Lord, not just fashion. And then the spiritual master will give the disciple correct directions. One cannot dictate to the spiritual master, just as a patient cannot demand that his physician prescribe a certain type of medicine. But this is happening nowadays. No? A lot of these patients go to the doctor and say, give me antibiotics, give me this, give me that medicine, right? But the doctors also nowadays are not so qualified, I think, because they really have difficulty saying no to the patients also.
Also, they don't know. If you ask them why certain disease happens, they will give certain theories, but they can't give conclusive answer why it's happening.
Yeah, so that is also another problem with doctors now. They don't have enough or proper experience, and those with experience are very rare nowadays. Yeah. So Prabhupada then quotes the verse from Bhagavad Gita about the four types of pious people who worship the Lord, and he compares Aditi to a person who is in distress. Who else was in distress? We were reading Gajendra. Okay. And so Prabhupada says she was very much aggrieved because her sons, the demigods, were bereft of everything. Because of that, she wanted to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of God here. So you can see, sometimes in life, if we are put into a difficult situation, then that will make us a better devotee.
Yeah.
So then Krishna watches, right? So he may put us in a difficult situation to make us become a devotee.
It's actually, I
Huh?
felt only when difficulties come,
Then you feel
come to senses.
very.
It's, I mean, we can see real change in persons, and
That's true.
And which category the Prahlad and Dhruv Maharaj came?
Prahlad is not.
Not the pure.
No. Dhruva is wealth.
Wealth.
Well, Dhruv, wealth, and
Artha.
Prahlad, which category? I mean, any in the four? In this
I said no,
Lab was pure, no?
pure. So no, not.
not in this category. Prahlad is pure devotee. Yeah. Next 23. Adishatvam Dvijashrishta
Adisha Tvam Sreshta.
Vidim Tad Upadavanam Ashutushyati Me Devaha Sitantya Sahaputrakai. O best of the Brahmanas, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, by which the Lord may very soon be pleased with me and save me along with my sons from this most dangerous condition. So she is feeling her situation to be very difficult.
Dangerous.
Now, Prabhupada says, less intelligent men ask whether one has to approach a guru to be instructed in devotional service for spiritual advancement. He says less advancement because they are not really interested and they don't want anyone telling them how to perform devotional service. So we know for a fact that in the Bhagavad Gita, as Prabhupada says, the Arjuna himself, who is very, very qualified, he himself accepted Krishna as a guru. So Prabhupada quotes from the Mundaka Upanishad, Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Eva Vigacche. Everyone needs a guru. Sri Krishna himself took guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also took a guru. So one must accept guru for proper guidance. Particularly for spiritual advancement, you need a guru. You have to. There's no other choice. And then by serving the spiritual master, who is not different from the Supreme Lord, Shakshadari Mena Samasta Sashte or Acharya Mam Vijaniya. One should worship the Acharya. So we need to understand this point. I have to worship my spiritual master carefully. Again, Prabhupada quotes from Chaitanya Charitamrita to show that the Guru is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So no matter what our situation is, no matter where we are, how happy we are, how sad we are, or whether in wealthy position or poor position, we still need a Guru because the Guru is the only one who can guide us in spiritual life. No one else can. So in the same way, he's saying Aditi accepted Kashyapa as a spiritual master so that she can worship Narayan. Text 24. Shri Kashyapa Vacha
Shri Kashyapa Vacha
Etanme Bhagavan Krishna
Etanme Bhagavan Vishta
Prajakamasya Patmaja
Vajakahasya Padmaja
Yatahate Pravakshyami
Yataha Te Pravashyami
Vratam Keshavatoshanam.
Vatakeshavadoshanam
Sri Kashyapa Muni said, when I desired offspring, I placed inquiries before Lord Brahma, who was born from a lotus flower. Now I shall explain to you the same process Lord Brahma instructed me, by which Keshava, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is satisfied. So by experience, Kashyapa understood that the method taught to him by Brahma is effective, and if anyone follows that method, will also get the
Same
same
result.
result. Yeah. So you can observe, or this sometimes you cannot observe. You have to experience it yourself. So he says, do it, it'll work. So you must accept it. Spiritual life is like that. When the guru is authorized in the parampara, he tells you do this way. We must accept that. Due to false ego, pride, and so on, we may doubt the spiritual master, but then that is not good for us. That is as good as being offensive to the spiritual master. So the Prabhupada says the bona fide Vedic system of receiving the process of devotional service is through the spiritual master, so that you can please the Supreme Person. You cannot on your own please Krishna. Huh? You cannot go directly to Krishna. You need a guru to serve, and then Krishna becomes pleased and reveals himself to you. Hmm? Yasya prasada bhagavat prasad. Yasya prasad nagati kutoti. By the mercy of the spiritual master, the Supreme Lord will reveal himself. Okay? Actually, the guru is presented to you by Krishna also. You may think, I picked this guru, I picked that, but actually Krishna is the one who shows you this is a qualified person who is representing me. And then you accept that person. Yeah. Prabhupada says the bona fide spiritual master is he who has received the mercy of his guru. So to become a guru, you must have the mercy of your spiritual master. Because this is how the disciplic succession is. You become a guru after getting the mercy of your spiritual master, so you can help another person. Similarly, your spiritual master became guru because he got the mercy of his spiritual master, and it goes back all the way to Krishna. That is the parampara system. Otherwise, the effect is not there. If you concoct some method. So Prabhupada says there's so many rascal gurus who manufacture their mantras as a process for material advancement. So you can see that a lot. No? Kali Yuga is like anyone can become guru, but not for spiritual advancement. In fact, most of the gurus are like they want to show off only. I'm so good. They don't even care about their disciples. So if they create their own mantra, Prabhupada says it is useless because the mantras we get is coming from Krishna, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from our acharyas. So they have special power when it's coming from the bona fide parampara. But if someone creates something, it has nothing. It's just like chanting the Maha Mantra. If you hear from a person who's not in the disciplic succession, it's like milk touched by the lips of the snake. It will not help us. Okay? So very important to appreciate this point Srila Prabhupada is making. Text 25. Falgunasyamale pakshe
Falgunasyamale pakshe
Dwadashaham payovratam Archaye Daravindaksham Bhaktya Paramayanvitaha. So he's giving Aditi when to perform this Payavrata. In the bright fortnight of the month of Falguna, between February and March. Okay. And for how many days? For 12 days ending with Dwadasi. One should observe the vow of subsisting only on milk and should worship the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead with all devotion. So anyone who wants to do for 12 days in the next few months coming, you can do. You don't have to fast much, you just take milk. And then you can see the Lord. Okay, so Prabhupada says one should install the deity of Lord Vishnu or Krishna and worship him nicely by dressing him, decorating him with flower garlands and offering him all kinds of fruits, flowers, and cooked food, nicely prepared with ghee, sugar, and grains. One should also offer a flame, incense, and so on, while ringing a bell as prescribed. This is called worship of the Lord. Here it is recommended that one observe the vow of subsisting only by drinking milk. This is called Payovrata. Now, if you recall in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was a brahmachari
Hmm.
who was only drinking milk.
Yeah, I was remembering that.
And then Shivas Thakur allowed him to come for the
Watching the
not
dance performance.
watching, participating in the Sankirtan
Nightly Kirtan.
in the night. And the Shivas. Then when he was there, Mahaprabhu said, I'm not feeling the ecstasy because somebody is not qualified this year.
Wow.
So then that brahmachari came and said, yes, I'm new here. And then so then Srivas said that he is a great soul. He never take
only
anything,
drinks
only
only.
drinks milk. So Mahaprabhu is like, doesn't matter what he drinks, you can go.
Get out of it.
So he said thank you, and he wasn't envious or anything or angry. He said thank you, and he said whatever you have said is good for me. And he, by saying that and taking a humble position, Mahaprabhu was pleased with him and said, no, you stay. Yeah. So one shouldn't think because I'm only drinking milk, I'm very advanced.
Pride comes in all
Yeah, pride will come. So Mahaprabhu was testing to see is it. So yeah, but you can do this. You can do Payavrata, right? So then Prabhupada says, we generally perform devotional service on Ekadasi by not eating grains. It is generally recommended that on Dwadasi one not consume anything but milk. Nowadays we don't take milk. We have a big feast. Payavrata and Archana devotional service to the Supreme Lord should be performed with a pure devotional attitude. Bhakti is required, not just do it artificially or not doing it in a fruitive mentality. That's the point Srila Prabhupada wants to say. Like you don't do arti for deities just because you're thinking, if I do, then I will get everything. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it so that he will not stop me from getting my wealth, my this, my that. But actually, devotional attitude means you're doing it to please the Lord. That's the difference. The arti and everything are auspicious items we offer the Lord for His pleasure. So that's how. Just like when the king in the Vedic time, when he is walking, they'll take the yak feather and then worship him, and then they'll have white umbrella behind. It's all auspicious item. So, and even Krishna on his foot and so on, he has the yak, he has the umbrella, everything. Symbols are on his lotus feet. So these are all auspicious items. Now, if Prabhupada says, if one wants to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead and be directly connected with Him, knowing what He wants to eat, how to He is satisfied, the only way we can know that is if we take the process of bhakti, right? Because if we just want to approach the Lord, we don't know what to do. But bhakti process teaches us what are the things we can do for the Lord, what are the things that makes Him happy. Otherwise, on our own, how we know what will make Him happy? We'll speculate something. Totally speculate. And or we can, sometimes I've seen devotees will add extra things that is not even recommended. They will do.
In practice.
In practice. So sometimes you don't need to, but why you want to unnecessarily do something? I have seen it. I do not know whether it's okay or not. Like for example, in the chanting, right? Generally, you chant, you first say the Panchatattva mantra and then you chant the holy name. But I've seen some devotees who chant so many things, so many mantras before they chant the holy name.
Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, then also Vaishnava Pranam Mantra.
Yeah, how they give the whole
Yeah,
parampara.
so many.
Yeah, so I wonder, is that all required? Is it part of our? Is it what Prabhupada thought? Or we add because we feel fearful that if we don't do that, we won't get the. Actually, you can do the whole Guru Parampara when in the Vaishnava songs, the pranam mantras for all. So you chant that one time nicely. After that, then you continue your chanting of the 16 rounds if that's what you want to do. But not for every round you stop and then you do a whole thing. That's different though, because if you read Adi Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada never says that. He says Panchatattva mantra and then the holy name. He says four or five times. Panchatattva mantra and then the holy name. But he never says you should chant this mantra, that mantra, and this. So that's what Prabhupada is saying.
Once it so happened, like when I was in school, my friend, she chanted entire mala, just Jai Shri Krishna. Only
Yeah, this is also,
And then that was accidentally because she goes through so many mantras.
Mhm.
So then accidentally she did it. And then I said, "एक मिनट वो क्या chant कर?" अरे sorry not भूल गई. Then she did.
Yeah, because they are not even thinking about what they chanted. Not even focused.
But yeah, even in school, right?
Yeah.
Still.
So inattentive chanting. Completely inattentive. Don't even know what you are chanting. But at least they were chanting the Lord's name.
And she's very innocent.
Yeah. I'm sure nothing wrong with that. But still, my point is we do not know what bhakti means sometimes. Text 26. Sinivalyam mridalipya Snayatrodha vidir Naya Yadi Labhyata Vaistrotasi Etam Mantram Udiraye. If the dirt dug up by a boar is available on the day of the dark moon, one should smear this dirt on his body and then bathe in a flowing river. While bathing, one should chant the following mantra. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can find a wild boar or something digging dirt. So maybe you can take I don't know if you want to do this, and if you can't find, it's not so bad. I think it says in the next verse. Text 27, Prabhupada will explain that if you can't do it, it's okay. 27. Tvam Devyadi Varahena Rasaya Sthanam Vichata Udrithasi Namastubhyam Papmanam Me Pranashaya. O Mother Earth, you were raised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a boar because of your desiring to have a place to stay. I pray that you kindly vanquish all the reactions of my sinful life. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So when you take the dirt from a boar, then you have to chant prayers to the planet and to the Supreme Lord Varahadev. Text 28. Nirvartitatma niyamo Devam archat samahitaha Archayam standile surye Jalevana Guravapi. Thereafter one should perform his daily spiritual duties and then with great attention offer worship to the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and also to the altar, the sun, water, fire, and the spiritual master. Text 29. Namastuvyam Bhagavate
Namastuvyam Bhagavate
Purushaya Mahiyashe
Purushaya Mahiyase
Sarvabhuta Nivashaya
Sarvabhutani Vashaya
Vasudevaya Sakshine.
Vasudevaya Sakshine.
O Supreme Personality of Godhead, greatest of all, who lives in everyone's heart and in whom everyone lives, O witness of everything, O Vasudeva, supreme and all-pervading person, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Namo Vyaktaya Shukshmaya
Namo Bhagavate Sukshmaya
Pradana Purushaya Cha
Pradana Purushaya Cha
Chaturvimsha Gunajnaya
Chaturvimsha Gunajnana
Gunasankyana Hetave.
Gunasankyana Hetave.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Person. Being very subtle, you are never visible to material eyes. You are the knower of the 24 elements and you are the inaugurator of the Sankhya Yoga system. Okay? Basically, 24 elements, five grows and so on, Prabhupada mentions. We should know that, right? And then they are how the Sankhya Yoga is centered around. To know everything, how you split it up, not to the level of the atom, but at least you know how the elements are combined. Yeah. So this is inaugurated, Prabhupada says, by Lord Kapila Deva. Third canto, if you don't remember. And that is the proper Sankhya Yoga because it connects with the Supreme Lord and his energies. But then again in Kali Yuga there was another Kapila, but he was an atheist. So there are people, as early on Prabhupada said, many rascals who claim to be God. Just like that. Text 31. Namo Dishvishne Pripade
Namo Dishvishne Pripade
Chaturshingaya Tantave
Chaturshingaya Tantave
Saptahastaya Yajnaya
Saptahastaya Yajnaya
Trayi Vidyatmane Namaha.
Trayi Vidyatmane Namaha.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have two heads, Prayaniya and Udayaniya, three legs, Savanatraya, four horns, the four Vedas, and seven hands, the seven Chandas, such as Gayatri. I offer my obeisances unto you, whose heart and soul are the three Vedic rituals, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda, and who expand these rituals in the form of sacrifice. Okay? So the two worshipping of Narayan like that. Yeah. Let's see.
Shouldn't be the same Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda?
They're separately called out.
They are separate.
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 Different things.
Yeah. Hang on, let me
Upasana
just.
is spiritual.
Huh?
Upasana is spiritual. Karma Kanda is
I just wanted to check something. Okay, so yeah. So when he says two heads, Prayaniya and Udayaniya, it is referring to the before the yajna and after the yajna. So that is the two heads. And three legs is Savana Traya, means the three periods of the day. Morning, noon, and Sandhyas. And then the four horns, the Vedas. Seven hands is the seven Chandas. Okay. And then three Vedic rituals, yes. And that's it, no? Okay. Yeah. Text 32. Namaha Shivaya Rudraya.
Namaha Shivaya Rudraya.
Namaha Shakti-dharaya cha
Namah Shakti-dharaya cha
Sarva-vidyadipataye
Sarva-vidyadipataye
Bhutanam Pataye Namaha.
Bhutanapataye Namaha.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, Lord Shiva or Rudra, for the reservoir of all potencies, the reservoir of all knowledge, and the master of everyone. Okay. So basically, Prabhupada here explains that it is a system for one to offer obeisances unto the expansion or incarnation of the Lord. So in this case, Lord Shiva. Text 33. Namo Hiranyagarbhaya
Namo Hiranyagarbhaya
Pranaya Jagat Atmane
Pranaya Jagatmane
Yogeshwarya Shariraya
Yogeshwarya Shariraya
Namaste Yoga Hetave.
Namaste Yoga Hetave.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are situated as Hiranyagarbha, the source of life, the super soul of every living entity. Your body is the source of the opulence of all mystic power. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Text 34. Namastadi Devaya
Namastadi Devaya
Shakshibhutaya Te Namaha
Sakshibhutaya Te Namaha
Narayanaya Rishaye
Narayanaya Vishye
Naraya Haraye Namaha.
Narayana Hare Namaha.
Offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the original personality of Godhead, the witness in everyone's heart, and the incarnation of Nara Narayana Rishi in the form of a human being. O personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Namo Marakata Shama
Namo Markata-shyama
Vapuse Digata Shriye
Vapuse Adhikara-shriye
Keshavaya Namastubhyam
Keshavaya Namastubhyam
Namaste Pitavasase.
Namaste Pitavasase.
My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are dressed in yellow garments, whose bodily hue resembles the Marakata gem, and who have full control over the goddess of fortune. O my Lord Keshava, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Text 36. Tvam sarva varada pumsam
Tvam sarva varada pumsam
Varenya varada Vrishabha
Varenya varada Vrishabha
Ataste Shayase Dhiraha
Ataste Shayase Dhira
Padarenu Upasate.
Padayenu Upasate.
O most exalted and worshipable Lord, best of those who bestow benediction, you can fulfill the desires of everyone, and therefore those who are sober for their own welfare worship the dust of your lotus feet. Right? Otherwise, you worship your own lotus feet. Text 37. Anvavartanta yam deva
Annavatantayam deva
Shishcha tatpada padmayo
Srishatatpadmadvayo
Sprihayanta iva modam
Vihayanta vimamodam
Bhagavan me prasidatam.
Bhagavan me prasidatam.
All the demigods as well as the goddess of fortune engage in the service of his lotus feet. Indeed, they respect the fragrance of those lotus feet. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead be pleased with me. Text 38. Etar mantre rishikesham
Etarmantre rishikesham
avahana puraskritam
Avahana purasritam
Achayachada yukta
Archayachadaya yukta
Padyo pasparshanadibihi.
Padyoparshanaditi.
So he has given the mantras, and now Kashyapa Muni continued. By chanting all these mantras, welcoming the Supreme Personality of Godhead with faith and devotion, and offering him items of worship such as Padya and Arghya, one should worship Keshava, Rishikesha, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when you do deity worship, you do all these things, You do archa, You do Padya, Argya, Achamanium, all those you're doing. So it's not like something is new. The only thing is, she will not be taking any food except milk only. It doesn't say if it's only once a day or as many times. That's the difference.
How long is this worship?
12 days.
12 days, right? So, Ekadasi and Dwadashi should be.
Yeah, between them. You finish on Ekadasi. Text 39. Achitva gandha malyadhyay Vayasa snapayet vibhum Vastro pavitha varana Padyo pasparshanaistatha Gandha dhupadi vischarche Dvadashakshara vidyaya. In the beginning, the devotee should chant the Dvadashakshara mantra. That mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That means 12 syllables. Okay. And offer flower garlands, incense, and so on. After worshipping the Lord in this way, one should bathe the Lord with milk and dress him with proper garments, a sacred thread and ornaments. After offering water to wash the Lord's feet, one should again worship the Lord with fragrant flowers, incense, and other paraphernalia. So this is a full abhishek with water. Sometimes we don't use milk, we just use warm water or rose water like that. Yeah. Okay. Text 40. Shritam payasi naivedyam Shali annam vibhavesati Shasharpi sagudam datva Juhuyan mula vidyaya. If one can afford to, one should offer the deity fine rice boiled in milk with clarified butter and molasses. While chanting the same original mantra, one should offer all this to the fire. Okay. So this is making payas, sweet rice payas. Yeah. Text 41. Niveditam tad bhaktaya Datya bunjitava swayam Datva chamanam architva Tambulam cha nivedaye. One should offer all the prasad to a Vaishnava, or offer him some of the prasad and then take some oneself. After this, one should offer the deity Achamana and then betel nut and then again worship the Lord. So this is the process we do. After offering Bhoga, we do an arti. Text 42. Japed astottara shatam Stuvita stutibhi prabhum Kritva pradakshinam bhumau Praname dandavan mudha. Thereafter, one should silently murmur the mantra 108 times and offer prayers to the Lord for his glorification. Then one should circumambulate the Lord and finally, with great delight and satisfaction, offer obeisances, falling straight like a rod. Dandavat. Text 43. So those who want to do this Paya Vrat, you remember all this. So you can do. Yeah, you can do. Nothing wrong. Text 43. Kritva shirasi tache sam Devam udvasayet tata Viyavaram bhojayet vipran Ayasena yatochitam. After touching to one's head all the flowers and water offered to the deity, one should throw them into a sacred place. Then one should feed at least 2 brahmanas with sweet rice. At least 2. Could be more. Okay. Text 44 and 45. Bunjitatair anujñataha Sesta sesham sabajitai Brahmachari ata tadratriyam Swabhute pratame hani Snata suci atoktena Vidina susamahitaha Payasa snapayitvache Yavat vrata samapanam One should perfectly honor the respectable brahmanas one has fed. And then after taking their permission, one should take prasad with his friends and relatives. For that night, one should observe strict celibacy. And the next morning, after bathing again with purity and attention, one should bathe the deity of Vishnu with milk and worship him according to the methods formally stated in detail. So daily you have to do this. Text 46. Payo bhaksho vratam midam Jared Vishna Archana Dritaha Purvavajjuhu Yad Agnim Brahmanam Shabi Bhojaye. Worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith and devotion and living only by drinking milk, one should follow this vow. One should also offer oblations to the fire and feed the brahmanas as mentioned before. So the brahmanas for 12 days they will be having a nice meal.
What is the reason behind all of this? What's the purpose?
If you have followed nicely, you would have known. You're coming on and off, so
No. I mean, Kashyap Muni, I'm assuming, is it for bearing a child or something?
not necessarily because she wanted
She wanted the baby.
Children.
No, she didn't want a baby. Her sons, the demigods, are now no more controlling
The heavenly planets.
Swargaloka. So therefore, she feels bad. She's asking Kasyapa to help, and so he gives her this method by approaching the Supreme Lord, and he says he will fulfill her desire to place her sons back in the proper situation. Text 47. Evam tu aharaha kurya Dvadashaham payovratam Hare Radhanam homam Arhanam Vijatarpanam. Translation: in this way, until 12 days have passed, one should observe this Payovrata, worshipping the Lord every day, executing the routine duties, performing sacrifices, and feeding the brahmanas. So, for 12 days only, you can do it and get the Lord darshan. Go back to God.
Oh, but they have to make boil the milk, right? Rice. So that they can eat the payasam also.
Yeah, that's the only thing they can eat. No, they can only take the milk.
Milk. They can't eat rice.
Payasam is for the brahmanas.
At least 2 grams.
But they're saying after that you should take the remnants.
No.
Not that remnant.
Not that one.
You can
You can drink.
Give that to somebody else and just drink that.
I think voice is okay, right?
Text 48.
2 weeks.
Patipaddinam arabhya Yavat Shukla Trayodashim Brahmacharyam Mada Swapnam Snanam Tri Savanam Chare. From Pratipad until the 13th day of the next bright moon, Shukla Trayodasi, one should observe complete celibacy, sleep on the floor, bathe 3 times a day, and thus execute the vow. So that's like 39 times for 12 days you have to bathe, plus 13 days. So more than that, 42 times. Anyway, you have to do all this. It's a form of austerity in pleasing the Lord. Text 49. Vajaya dasad alapya alapam
Vajayasalalam
Bhoganuchavacham stata
Bhoganuchavachamstatha
Ahimsa sarvabhutanam
Ahimsa sarvabhutanam
Vasudeva parayanaha.
Vasudeva parayana.
During this period, one should not unnecessarily talk of material subjects or topics of sense gratification. One should be completely free from envy of all living entities, and one should be a pure and simple devotee of Lord Vasudeva. You have to go to a forest to do this. Most of you cannot do this because you have your phone, your TV, all these things are unnecessarily, yeah, correct? You can't do it. You have to be in a secluded place at least. Text 50. Trayodashyam Adho Vishnu
Trayodashyamato Vishnu
Snapanam Panchake Vibhu
Snapanam Pampalkanevo
Karayachashtra Dristena
Karayachastasena
Vidina Vidiko Vidai.
Vidina Vidikodai.
Thereafter, following the directions of the Shastra, with help from Brahmanas who know the Shastra, on the 13th day of the moon, one should bathe Lord Vishnu with 5 substances. Panchagavya, no, Panchamrita. Yeah. Milk, yogurt, ghee, sugar, and honey.
There is no cow either.
Text 51 and 52. Pujam cha mahatim kurya
Pujam cha
Vitta satya vivajitaha
Vidya
Charum nirupya payasi Sipi vistaya vishnave Shuktena tena purusham Yajata sushamahitaha Naivedyam chati gunavat Dadya purusha tustidam. Giving up the miserly habit of not spending money, one should arrange for the gorgeous worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of every living entity. With great attention, one must prepare an oblation of grains boiled in ghee and milk and must chant the Purusha Shukta mantra. The offerings of food should be of varieties of tastes. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Basically, you cook a boga, Raj boga, yeah, with the payas again. Text 53. Acharyam jnana sampannam vastravarana denubihi doshayeri vit vijasyaiva tadviddi aradanam hare. One should satisfy the spiritual master, Acharya, who is very learned in Vedic literature, and should satisfy his assistant priest known as Hotha, Udgatha, Advaryu, and Brahma. One should please them by offering them clothing, ornaments, and cows. This is a ceremony called Vishnu Aradhana, or worship of Lord Vishnu. So make sure you get some cows also to give away. Some ornaments. Don't cheat. Text 54. Bhojayet tan gunavata satannena suchismite anyam sha brahmanan chaktya echa tatra samagataha. O most auspicious lady, one should perform all the ceremonies under the direction of learned acharyas and should satisfy them and their priests. By distributing prasad, one should also satisfy the brahmanas and others who have assembled. Text 55. Dakshinam gurave dadya ऋत्विज्याश्च यथार्हतः
ऋत्विज्याश्च
अन्नाद्येन स्वपाकंश्च
अन्नाद्येनाश्वपाकांश्च
त्रीणि यत्समुपागतान्.
लीलये समुपागताम्.
One should satisfy the spiritual master and assistant priest by giving them cloth, ornaments, cows, and also some monetary contribution. And by distributing prasada, one should satisfy everyone assembled, including even the lowest of men, the chandalas, eaters of dog flesh. So quite a lot. You make sure you cook nicely, but and the brahmanas also you have to give them some things, cloth, ornaments, and so on. Prabhupada says Vedic system. He wants us to understand carefully. Prasad is always distributed as recommended here without discrimination as to who may take the prasad. Everyone should be given. Regardless of whether one be a Brahmana, Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, even the lowest of men, a Chandala, he should be welcome to accept prasad. Now, if they refuse, that's a different matter. However, when the Chandalas, a lower class or poorer class, are taking prasad, this does not mean that they have become Narayana or Vishnu. So this is for the Mayavadis who always talk nonsense. Narayan is situated in everyone's heart, but this does not mean Narayana is a Chandala or a poor man. That's why they are very offensive, the Mayavadis. The Mayavad philosophy of accepting a poor man as Narayan is the most envious and atheistic movement in Vedic culture. This mentality should be completely given up. Everyone should be given the opportunity to take prasad, but this does not mean that everyone has the right to become Narayan. Okay? It's a joke, Text 56. Bhuktavatsucha sarveshu
Bhuktavatsu sarveshu
Dinanda Kripanadishu
dīnānā kripanādishu
Vishnustad Prinanam Vidvan
Vishnustattvīnam vidvān
Bunjita Saha Bandhubihi.
Dujita
One should distribute Vishnu Prasad to everyone, including the poor man, the blind man, the non-devotee, and the non-Brahmana. Knowing the Lord Vishnu is very pleased when everyone is sumptuously fed with Vishnu Prasad, the performer of Yajna should then take Prasad with his friends and relatives. So this is why I keep saying you all should take Prasad to your office, your workplace, because then Vishnu will be pleased. Don't be a miser. Don't just cook for yourself and keep at home. Right? Yeah, see? Boy also smart. Text 57. Nityavaditra Gitaischa
Nrityavaditra gītaischa
Stutivi Swasti Vachakai
Stutivi swasti vācai
Karayet Tat Kathabhischa
Ārayet tathāvischa
Pujam Bhagavaton Vaham.
Pūjā bhagavato.
Every day from Pratipat to Trayodasi, one should continue the ceremony to the accompaniment of dancing, singing, the beating of drum, the chanting of prayers, and all auspicious mantras and recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for 12 days, you have to have kirtan at home and reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Can be done, right? Still can be done. So far, you cannot say, I can't do it. Text 58. Etapayo vratam nama
Etapayoratam nama
Purusharadhanam param
Purusharadhanam
Pitamahena vihitam
Pitamahena vihitam
Mayate samudaritam.
Mayate samudaritam.
This is the religious ritualistic ceremony known as Payovrata, by which one may worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I received this information from Brahma, my grandfather, and now I have described it to you in all details. So even if you go to school, you can bring prasad. Okay. Text 59. Tvam chanena mahabage samyak chinena keshavam atmana shuddha bhavena yatatma bhajavyayam. Translation: O most fortunate lady, establishing your mind in a good spirit, execute this process of Payavrata and thus worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Keshava, who is inexhaustible. Avyaya. Text 60. Ayam vai sarva yajnakhyaye sarva vratam iti smritam taphasaram idam badre danam chisvara tarpanam. This Payovrata is also known as Sarva Yajna. In other words, by performing this sacrifice, one can perform all other sacrifices automatically. This is also acknowledged to be the best of all ritualistic ceremonies. For gentle lady, it is the essence of all austerities, and it is a process of giving charity and pleasing the Supreme Controller. So everyone should do it. Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. This is a statement that Lord Shiva speaks to Parvati. So the best worship is worship of Lord Vishnu. Of course, the second part says better than that is worshipping his devotees. Yeah. So in any case, Prabhupada writes, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in this Payavrata ceremony, and he has described it fully. The ultimate goal of life is to please Lord Vishnu by Varnashram Dharma. Vedic principles of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashrams are meant for worship of Vishnu. Vishnu Aradhyate Pantha Nanyatattosha Karanam. Of course, even though we say Varnashram, but it's so difficult to establish that because people are not qualified. But still we will try. The Krishna consciousness movement is also Vishnu Aradhanam, or worship of Lord Vishnu, according to the age. The Payavrata method of Vishnu Aradhanam was enunciated long, long ago by Kashyapa Muni to his wife Aditi in the heavenly planets. And the same process is bona fide on earth even now. So you can do it. But of course, whatever.
Sorry.
Performing, Prabhupada says, prescribed worship in such temples of Vishnu and thus worshipping the Lord is as good as performing the Payavrata ceremony recommended here. So if you do temple worship, deity worship, it's also as good as Payavrata. Now the Payavrata ceremony is performed from the 1st to the 13th day of the bright fortnight of the moon. But in our Krishna consciousness movement, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in every temple according to a schedule of 24 hours of engagement in performing kirtan, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, offering palatable food to Lord Vishnu and distributing this food to Vaishnavas and others. These are authorized activities, and if the members of Krishna consciousness movement stick to these principles, they will achieve the same result one gains by observing the Payavrata ceremony. So what must you do?
Chant, dance,
Take prasadam.
serve the deities in the temple.
Serve the deities in the temple. One last thing. Distribute prasadam.
For ourselves.
Not to yourself, to others. So that means every day you must give something outside of your family. Right? It appears that way. And others. So give someone in your office or somebody. So Prabhupada says if we do all these principles nicely, we will get to see or go back to God. So there are a few things. That's the essence of all auspicious activities such as performing yajna, giving in charity, dana, and observing vratas and undergoing austerities, penance, is included in the Krishna consciousness movement. So it's all there. If you do it, you will find all these things, right? What is the biggest austerity for most of us?
Giving charity.
Getting up.
For Grahastha, actually.
Getting up in Bangladesh. It's true, right? A lot of us have difficulty. The members of this movement should immediately, Prabhupada says, immediately and sincerely follow the processes already recommended. Of course, sacrifice is meant to please Lord Vishnu. Yajnai Sankirtan Pray Yajantihi. In Kali Yuga, those who are intelligent perform the Sankirtan Yajna. One should follow this process conscientiously. What does that mean? Conscientiously means? Huh?
I'm so
Focusing mind.
Yeah, with understanding what you're doing.
Diligent.
With conscience. Yeah.
governed by conscience, controlled by or done according to one's inner sense of what is right principled.
Okay, explain.
I
Yeah, so you think and you know why you're doing it, how you're doing it. Yeah, that's becoming conscious. Don't be unconscious.
Thorough
This
and
is
responsible.
Krishna consciousness. Text 61. Ta eva niyama shakshat. Ta eva chayamottamaha. Nabodanam vratam yajno. Yena tushyati adhokshajaha. This is the best process for pleasing the transcendental supreme personality of Godhead known as Adhokshaja. It is the best of all regulative principles, the best austerity, the best process of giving charity, and the best process of sacrifice. So Krishna consciousness is the best. Okay. So Prabhupada quotes Sarva Dharmam prayer and then a prayer from first canto, second chapter. If you don't worship the Lord, then it's a useless endeavor. Okay? Yeah. Shrama eva kevalam. After that, Prabhupada says, if one is not interested in satisfying Lord Vishnu, Vasudeva, all his so-called auspicious activities are fruitless. Okay? Understand what he's saying here? Prabhupada is saying, whatever other activities you're doing is actually useless. Doesn't give you a good result. Temporary maybe, but not a good result. So then Prabhupada says, if we are like that, then we must be under the influence of the material energy. Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vechetasaha. Because he is bewildered. He is baffled in his hopes, baffled in his activities, and baffled in his knowledge. If you are not connecting to Krishna, this is what will happen to us. This is very serious. You become bewildered easily. Your knowledge, you don't know how to apply at the moment, and you don't know what to do, and then you don't even have faith anymore. You got no hope in life like that. So you see, people are like that nowadays. So therefore, they do anything and everything. They have no regard for another person's life also. So then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes, Napum shakam anapum shake neti adinaikatvam. He says, one cannot equate the potent and the impotent. Among modern Mayavadis, it has become fashionable to say that whatever one does or whatever path one follows is all right. That's nonsense. Yeah. Yeah, whatever you do, you'll come to the conclusion.
Same
Nonsense. What is that? Yatamat
Tatopat.
Yeah. But these are all foolish statements. Here it is forcefully affirmed that this is the only method for success in life. Okay, so whatever Prabhupada is given us, it is the only method in Kali Yuga. Ishvara tarpanam veena sarvameva vifalam. Okay. If you do anything, it's Vipalam. Any other thing apart from Vishnu. Unless Lord Vishnu is satisfied, all of one's pious activities, ritualistic ceremonies and yagnas are simply for show and have no value. And then Prabhupada writes, and I think he feels it very strongly when he writes this sentence. Unfortunately, foolish people do not know the secret of success. Well, he feels that, He wants everyone to take it up, but they don't want. So he says, foolish people. Nate vidu swarta gatim hi Vishnu, because they don't know what is good for themselves. Real self-interest. He Vishnu. Swarta gatim hi Vishnu. That's what you should be doing. All of us should be doing. As I mentioned, if you haven't practiced it, it'll be difficult in the beginning stages, but if you have this goal properly in your understanding, slowly you'll come to stage of wanting to please Vishnu daily, not just on festival days. Right? Festival days, everyone shouts, hey, Janmashtami in front of Lord, dancing. After that, they don't come anymore. Maybe 6 months later, they'll come and say, hey, Krishna.
Festival to festival.
Yeah.
VIP, VVIP.
Yeah.
Sri Hari Prabhu says, he asked him, when he gets come, how often do you come? He
Yeah.
says, once in a year, no, once in 2 years, you are VVIP.
Yeah. It's like that, no? There's a saying in, I think in South India, they say that somebody asks a person, how come how often do you come? He say, I only come once a week. So another guy who doesn't come at all, he only comes once a year. So then he only comes on Diwali day. So then he says, Diviliki, Diviliki, Diviliki. So he's saying quickly. So then people think he comes a lot. But actually he's only coming once a year, one day in a year. So it's like that. But he never comes. Or like the Spanish, they say that. Mañana, mañana, mañana. And it's tomorrow, but never come. Yeah. Text 62. Tasmade tad vratam badre. Yata shraddhaya chara. Bhagavan puritustaste. Varana shubhidashyati. Therefore, my dear gentle lady, follow this ritualistic vow, strictly observing the regulative principles. By this process, the Supreme Person will very soon be pleased with you and will satisfy all your desires. He'll be very pleased, very quickly. So thus end the Bhaktivinoda purpose of the 8th canto, 16th chapter, the Srimad Bhagavatam, entire executing the Payovrata process of worship. So you cannot abandon what the Acharya has given you to practice in this age and then say, I will only do Payovrata. No, you can't. Okay? So the recommended process is through the Acharyas. So you have to follow Acharya. You can do on top of that, you can do this.
Add on.
Bonus. Okay, so don't make these statements. I'm doing this.
Replace,
Payovrata.
don't replace.
Yeah, so this is also recommended in the Bhagavatam. But that's not like that. The Yuga Dharma must be executed according to the Acharyas. Okay. Alright, chapter 17. The Supreme Lord agrees to become Aditi's son. Alright, so after the prayer, let's see what happens. Text 1. Sri Shuka Vacha Yukta Saditi Rajan Swabhatra Kashyapena Vai Anvatistar Vratam Idam Dvadasaham Atandrita. Sukadeva Goswami said, O king of the Aditi was thus advised by her husband Kashyapa Muni. She strictly followed his instructions without laziness and in this way perform the Payovrata ritualistic ceremony. Very important, huh? Don't be lazy in doing devotional service. So Prabhupada says one must strictly follow the bona fide instructions of the spiritual master if you want to make advancement. Very important. Huh? And so Aditi is a good example. She is following her guru. Her husband is a guru. As confirmed in the Vedic injunctions, Yasya Deva Para Bhakti Yata Deva Tatha Guru. One should have complete faith in the guru who helps the disciple make progress in spiritual life. So key point here is complete faith. Don't doubt your spiritual master. Don't think of them as less. Don't think they don't know what they're doing. You should never judge your spiritual master. They can say or do anything. It could be meaningless or it could seem wrong, but you have no right to judge them. As soon as the disciple thinks independently, not caring for the instructions of the spiritual master, he is a failure. Yasha prasada nagati kutopi. He will not get the mercy of the spiritual master. Aditi very strictly followed the instructions of her husband and spiritual master. Thus she was successful. So Prabhupada gives us the point that she is successful. Text 2 and 3. Chintayanti etaya buddhya mahapurusham ishwaram pragrayendriya dustaswan manasa buddhi saradi manaschaitagraya buddhya bhagavati akilatmani vasudeve samadaya chacharaha payovratam full undiverted attention, Aditi thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and in this way brought under full control her mind and senses, which resembled forceful horses. She concentrated her mind upon the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, thus she performed the ritualistic ceremony known as Payovrata. Okay. So if you don't need much, you just take a little bit of like milk or water, then you can control your senses, particularly your mind. Alright. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, one simply has to concentrate upon the lotus feet of Vasudeva Krishna. Savai mana Krishna padada vindayo. Then the mind and senses will be controlled and one can engage himself fully in the devotional service of the Lord. It doesn't mean just that you just simply think of the lotus feet and everything is okay. Not like that. No? It means you should be following every other practice properly also. Then you can at least concentrate on the lotus feet, which then allows you to control your mind and senses. That means following the instructions of the spiritual master properly. That means including chanting and other aspects of your devotional life. The devotee does not need to practice the Hatha Yoga system to control the mind and senses. His mind and senses are automatically controlled because of unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Obviously, there are some devotees who still do Hatha Yoga because it helps them for some other reasons or health reason maybe so. So that's okay. But as long as they are continuously doing devotional service, then it's okay. But Prabhupada says no need to practice. Text 4. Tasya pradura bhuttata Bhagavanadi Purushaha Itavasa Chatudbahu Shankachakra Gadadharaha. My dear King, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, dressed in yellow garments and bearing a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus in his 4 hands, then appeared before Aditi. So it may appear that the Lord has only one color garment, one dhoti. But that's how he is always consistent. He is transcendental. His clothing is also transcendental. So in case you're wondering. So Vishnu also wears yellow. Krishna also wears yellow. Who doesn't wear yellow?
Even Yamaraja
Huh?
was here.
Radharani doesn't.
Talking about Vishnu,
Oh,
the
Vishnu.
son.
Balaram.
Huh?
Balaram doesn't.
Balaram and
Nityananda.
who?
Nityananda Prabhu.
Nityananda Prabhu. Okay.
And even one of the Mahajans, Yamaraj wears yellow and red.
Starting.
Yellow and red. Yeah, they mix. Yeah.
Sudarshan Chakra is yellow.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Even sometimes Lord Ram, when he appears, he is wearing. He doesn't wear green. He's also.
His color is.
Sometimes his body color is green, but not all the time. Yeah. So he's also wearing yellow in his original form. Yeah. Balaram. Krishna. Yes. Text 5. Tam netra gocharam vikshya sahasuttaya sadaram nanama bhuvikayena nandava priti vivala. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead became visible to Aditi's eyes, Aditi was so overwhelmed by transcendental bliss that she at once stood up and then fell to the ground like a rod to offer the Lord her respectful obeisances. Amazing, huh? For 12 days and she got the result. How many years we are chanting? Because she is qualified. Huh?
Yeah,
We have so much anarthas, whereas they don't have much anarthas or not at all. Yeah. Like 6. Suttaya Baddhanjali Vikum Stita Notse Hananda Jalakulekshana Babu Vatusni Pulaka Kula Kritis Taddarshanat Yutsavagatra Vipatuhu. Aditi stood silently with folded hands, unable to offer prayers to the Lord. Because of transcendental bliss, tears filled her eyes and the hairs on her body stood on end. Because she could see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, she felt ecstasy and her body trembled. So this is another thing. When you face with the Lord, you're overwhelmed with a lot of transcendental emotions. You'll be just crying, nothing, can't even speak. Like 7. Prityashanet gad gadaya gira harim Tustavasa devyaditi kurutvaha Vikshati sa pivati vachakshusha Ramapatim yajnapatim jagatpatim O Maharaj Parikshit, the demigoddess Aditi then began offering her prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a faltering voice and with great love. She appeared as though drinking through her eyes the Supreme Lord, who is the husband of the goddess of fortune, the enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, and the master and lord of the entire universe. Just see, just to get her sons in a proper situation, she worshipped the Supreme Lord. It makes you wonder, right? If you want to go back to Godhead, or do you just want some material things to be fixed? So that's something to think about. But at this moment, she is completely satisfied, just seeing the Lord. Text 8. Shri Aditya Vacha Yagnesha Yagna Purusha Chutatita Pada
Yagnesha Yagna Purusha Chutatita Pada
Tita Shava Shavana Mangala Nama Deya
Teta Shava Shavana Mangala Nama Deya
Apanna Loka Vijinopa Samodayadya
Apanna Loka Vijinopa Samodayadya
Samna Kritisha Bhagavan Nasidina Nataha
Samna Krisha Bhagavan Asidina Natha
Goddess Aditi said, O master and enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, O infallible and most famous person, whose name, when chanted, spreads all good fortune. O original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Controller, shelter of all holy places, you are the shelter of all poor, suffering living entities, and you have appeared to diminish their suffering. Please be kind to us and spread our good fortune. So, Prabhupada writes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of those who observe vows and austerity. So there you go. Right? Now you know why we take vows in the yajna and why we perform austerity. Because we want to please the Supreme Lord. So what is that? The next vow taking time will be in September, no? Purushottam Adhikas. I think either mid-August or mid-September. Mid-September. You checked already. So then you all can make some vows that are meaningful. Okay. Something that will make you a better devotee. Don't take vows like I'm not eating sweets or this. Not for weight loss program. That you can join Jenny Craig or something. Nonsense. I think it's so nonsense. If you say I will only eat once a day, then that's okay for you to please you, Lord. And I only eat very little once a day. That's the right way. Not like I'll eat once a day. So that's how vows should be observed. That's an austerity. It'll become an austerity just to eat once a day. And then, or for the Purusha Madhikmas, you go for Mangalarti every day. That's another way. That because a lot of devotees have difficulties. So by doing that, at least hopefully they'll get some taste. Then they can maintain it for the rest of their life. Okay. So all this is the reason we do is to please the Supreme Lord, and He can give you any benediction. Of course, if you do it for Him, the only benediction you would want is to go back to God here. Prabhupada writes, he is worshipable for the devotee throughout the devotee's life. For he never breaks his promises. Kantaya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. Right? After you do your deity worship, you chant the mantras. This is one of the mantras, right?
Yeah.
So, name bhakta pranashyati iti samsritya, right? Pranandami, like that. Son of Kunti declared boldly that my devotee never perishes. So if we worship the Lord with the heart in properly situated, definitely He will protect you. So you must have a one-pointed worship. Tasme dekana manasa. Bhagwan Sattvatam Pati. Then He is your protector, well-wisher. Shrottavya Kirtitavyas. De Bhujasya Nityara. You can do it daily, you have to do. Like that. So here Prabhupada says, Achyuta, he is infallible. Why? Because he will always take care of devotees, no matter how difficult they are. He'll come. He is someone you can have full faith in. Anyone inimical to the devotees is certainly vanquished by the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is the source of the Ganges water, and therefore he is addressed here as Tirtha Pada, indicating that all the holy places are at his lotus feet, or that whatever he touches with his foot becomes a holy place. The Prabhupada says just like Kurukshetra. And then finally, Prabhupada at the end, he says, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is pleasing to the ear and it expands good fortune to the audience who hears it chanted. Owing to the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Aditi was fully assured that the troublesome condition created for her by the demons would now be ended. Text 9. Vishvaya Vishvabhavana Sthiti Samyamaya
Vishwaya Vishwabhavana Sthiti Samyamaya
Swairam Vihita Purushakti Gunaya Bhumne
Swayam Vrita Pusakti Gunaya Bhumne
Swastaya Shashvat Upabrimhita Purna Bodha
Swasaya Sasvabhavrimita Purna Bodha
Vyapadi Tatma Tamase Haraye Namaste
Vyaparitatma Namaste Hare Namaste.
My Lord, you are the all-pervading universal form, the fully independent creator, maintainer, and destroyer of this universe. Although you engage your energy in matter, you are always situated in your original form and never fall from that position, for your knowledge is infallible and always suitable to any situation. You are never bewildered by illusion. Oh my Lord, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So in the purport, Prabhupada quotes from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Siddhanta baliye chitte nakara alas iha haite Krishna lage siddhvidda manas. Anyone trying to become fully Krishna conscious must know the Lord's glories as far as they are possible to understand. Another reason why you must read Krishna book daily, so you can understand his glories. If you can't read anything else, right? Here Aditi hints at these glories. Very important. So at least you know. And then the more you read, you become convinced he is supreme. The less you read, the less you are convinced. Or the less taste you have. Or you don't even want to surrender, right? When one surrenders onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he surpasses the influence of the illusory energy. So there you go. So if you're always thinking about the Lord, the material energy won't disturb you. For the Supreme Lord, being fully wise and being situated in the heart of everyone, especially in the heart of the devotee, gives one intelligence by which one is sure never to fall into illusion. Yeah. So that means you will know this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. And you'll stop doing it. But if you don't connect with the Lord, then He cannot help us. Then only the material energy will disturb us. Text 10. Ayu param vapurabhistam atulya lakshmi
Ayu Param Vapuralishtam Atulya Lakshmi
Yoburasa sakala yoga gunastri vargaha
Yoga Sakala Yoga Gunastri Varga
Jnanam cha kevalam ananta bhavanti tustat
Jnanam cha kevalam ananta bhavanti tushta
Vatto ninam kimusapatna jayadi rashi.
Bhagato Niyam Kimutapatna Jayashri.
O unlimited one, if your lordship is satisfied, one can very easily obtain a lifetime as long as that of Lord Brahma, a body either in the upper, lower, or middle planetary systems. Unlimited material opulence, religion, economic development, and satisfaction of the senses, full transcendental knowledge, and the 8 yogic perfections, or to speak of such petty achievements as conquering one's rivals. So she herself is agreeing and acknowledging that she is foolishly calling for that. Yes.
When you don't offer Krishna, Krishna will kill you.
Yeah, something like that. Something, yeah, you become a demon. That's right. I agree with you. Text 11. Sri Sukha Vacha
Sri Sukha Vacha
Adityavan Stuto Rajan
Adityavan Stuto Rajan
Bhagavan Puskarekshanaha
Bhagavan Pushkareshana
Kshetranya Sarva Bhutanam
Kshetranya Sarvabhutanam
Iti Hovacha Bharata.
Yovacha Bharata
Sukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, best of the Bharata dynasty, when the lotus-eyed Lord, the super soul of all living entities, was thus worshipped by Aditi, he replied as follows. Text 12. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Devaman Vacha
Deva Mata Bhagatya Me
Devamata Bhavatyame
Vignatam Chirakangshitam
Vijnatam Chirakamshitam
Yat Sapatnai Rita Shrinam
Yasapatne Srinam
Javitanam Swadamataha.
Chavidanam Sudhamataha
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Mother of the demigods. He could have said Aditi, but he said, O Mother of the demigods. I've already understood.
Context.
Yeah, context. I've already understood your long cherished desires for the welfare of your sons, who have been deprived of all opulences and driven from their residence by their enemies. Because the mother is asking for her children, so therefore he addresses her as such. In the purport, Prabhupada says, since he knows everything, he knows how things are to be adjusted. And he does the needful to relieve the suffering of his devotee. So therefore, we only have to worship him. And he will sort our problems. But you must develop good faith. Yes.
Also, in this case, if she would have asked for pure devotion service, she would have been granted that.
Yeah. Definitely.
In such a short spell day, she was perfect.
Yeah.
She would have been perfect.
Yeah. Text 13. Tan vinirjitya samare
Nāmirjitya samare
Durmadan asura rishabhan
Durmadan asurajavan
Pratilabdha jaya shrivi
Pratilabdha jaya shrivi
Putrayachasi upasitum.
Putrechasi upasitum
Oh Devi, oh Goddess, I can understand that you want to regain your sons and be together with them to worship me after defeating the enemies in battle and retrieving your abode and opulences. I mean, she could also have prayed, right? That let the demons go back to Godhead, let me go back, right? All that. Right? But you can see what happens, right? When you are not practicing properly or with the right attitude. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, when he was touched by the Lord, he realized he made a big, big mistake.
Yeah.
Right? For asking for a material thing. Yeah. So here also, she also realized when she, yeah,
Asked for killing animals.
yeah. So the Lord says, don't worry, I'll do it. Text 14. Indrajeshtai swatanayir
Indrajishtai swatanayir
athanam yudhi vidvisam
Athanam yudhividvisam
Shriyorudanti rasadya
Sriyorudanti rasadhya
drastum ichchasi dukhitaha.
Drashtum ichchasi dukkhaha
You want to see the wives of the demons lamenting for the death of their husbands when those demons, the enemies of your sons, are killed in battle by the demigods of whom Indra is the chief. Look at the Lord, eh? He is really giving it to her. You want to see other people die. So when we read that, we also understand, this we shouldn't be doing all this. We shouldn't wish bad for even our enemies. Yeah. But of course, here is the context is slightly different. They are trying to rule the
Overpower them.
universals, but the demons are trying to create havoc here. Text 15.
But so I just want to know, why is Krishna pointing this out? That okay, you want to see the wives lamenting over the death of
Yeah.
their husband.
That's what will happen.
So is he trying to tell her that
Of course.
it's not a good thing
This
to go for?
indirectly is telling us, you don't pray to the Supreme Lord for such things actually.
Don't pray, right?
Yeah, generally we don't pray to the Lord for such things. Get rid of some things.
So does that move her or no?
Huh?
After hearing this, that okay, how can I pray such fine things?
We'll see.
Come on.
We'll see.
So Prabhu, it is to protect Dharma only, no?
Yeah. He's doing it because he according to Bhagavad Gita, right?
Hmm.
Why does the Lord come? To
Yada
re-establish
yada
religious principles. So therefore, the demons have taken over the whole society, and so religious principles are not maintained. So therefore, he will still do something. Just like Krishna arranged for so many people to die in Kurukshetra. Of course, he tried to stop them. They didn't want to.
So also, but in the previous things, when the demigods just disappear because they know they can't defeat in Bali now. It said in the purport or translation that he took over all the three regions. So does it mean
Yes.
that he controls Lord Brahma also? Because that's
No, nobody
Three
controls.
words is this.
I mean,
It's a heavenly planet.
Bhu Bhuvar Swar.
It's just Swargaloka.
oh,
Bhu
Stephen,
Bhuvar
yeah.
Swar. Those are three.
Yeah, I was thinking.
No, beyond that, nobody.
They can't go.
They won't bother them. They can't. They're not allowed to. Okay, text 15. Atmajan susamridam stvam
Atmajan samsudam swam
pratyarita yashashriya
pratyarita yashasriya
nakapristam adhistaya
nakaprishtam adhisthaya
kridato drastumichasi.
kridato drashtumichasi.
You want your sons to regain their lost reputation and opulence and live again on their heavenly planet as usual. So basically, he's a super soul also. He knows exactly what she wants. So he's just making it clear to her, this is what you want. Like 16.
Is he trying to indicate to her that you have better things to ask for?
It is always the same. There's always a better thing. You go to a millionaire and you ask for $1 to a lawyer, right? Yeah, it's not good actually. But as pointed out, he's only saying this to show that he will also protect the devotees. Yeah. So she is a devotee, so she's asking for help, and he's coming to protect her. Text 16. Prayodunate surayutanata
Prayodunate surayutanata
Paraniya iti devi me mati
aparaniya iti devi me matihi
Yatte nukuleshvara vipragupta
yatte nakuleshvara
na vikramastat sukam dadati.
navikramastat sukham dadati.
O mother of the demigods, in my opinion, almost all the chiefs of the demons are now unconquerable, for they are being protected by Brahmanas, whom the Supreme Lord always favors. Thus, the use of power against them now will not at all be a source of happiness. So, why is that? So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada makes it clear. When a person is favored by Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, no one can defeat him. Even the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not interfere when one is protected by a Brahmana, because Go Brahmanaya Hitacha. So he always maintains the Brahmana. So whatever they want, the Lord will fulfill. The Lord's first inclination is to give all benedictions to the cows and Brahmanas. Therefore, if Brahmanas favor someone, the Lord does not interfere, nor can anyone interfere with the happiness of such a person.
So if it's a Vaishnav, then it will take precedence, right? If it's a Vaishnav, then Lord will favor the Vaishnav over the Brahmana.
It's not like that. He will favor both of them.
Yeah, but he'll find out a solution.
That's right. Yeah. Not like he will just side one side.
Yeah,
Both are the same. Text 17. Aptapipayo mama devi chintyaha
Athavivayo mama devi chintya
santositasya vratacharya yate
santoshitasya vratacharyayate
mamarchanam narhadi gantum anyata
maharchanam narhitam kumanyata
Shraddhanurupam palahetukatva
shraddhanurupam parahetukatva.
Yet because I have been satisfied by the activities of your vow, O goddess Aditi, I must find some means to favor you. For worship of me never goes in vain, but certainly gives the desired result according to what one deserves. So he has to balance. That's what he's saying. So he's not saying he will abandon them, but he'll say he'll find some ways to make your prayer favorable or appear. Text 18. Tvaya chitascha guptaye Tvaya vratena nugunam samidita Samsena putra tumupetyate sutan Goptasmi mari cha tapasya dishtitha You have prayed to me and properly worshipped me by performing the great Ayavrata ceremony for the sake of protecting your sons. Because of Kashyapa Muni's austerities, I shall agree to become your son and thus protect your other sons. Text 19. Upadava patim bhatre Prajapatim akalmasam Mam cha bhavayati patyam Evam rupam avasthitam Always thinking of me has been situated within the body of your husband, Kashyapa. Go worship your husband who has been purified by his austerity. Text 20. Naitat parasma akyeyam Kristayapi kathanchana Sarvam sampadyate devi Devaguyam susamritam O lady, even if someone inquires, you should not disclose this fact to anyone. That which is very confidential is successful if kept secret. Yeah,
And the sixth verse only also they say, right? You should not tell your
plans.
sons.
Too many things don't tell you. Because sometimes people will get envious and then they'll sabotage you. but not you don't keep everything secret, But you have to be careful. That's it.
Or maybe reveal at the time when it's needed.
Or reveal at the time when it's near or when it's almost successful. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Yeah. Generally, you shouldn't tell in the Facebook or something. Yes. Maybe your spiritual master or someone who's your well-wisher. That's fine. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. Confidential. So, Text 21. Sri Sukha Vacha Tavat Uttva Bhagavan Satraivantaradhyata Aditi Durlabam Lakva Hare Janmatmani Prabhu Upadavat Patim Bhaktya Daya Krita Krityava Sukadeva Goswami said, after speaking in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead disappeared from that very spot. Aditi, having received the extremely valuable benediction that the Lord would appear as a son, considered herself very successful, and with great devotion she approached her husband. Text 22. Save Samadhi Yogena Kashyapastat Abuddhayata Pravistam Atmani Hare Amsham Hi Avitha Tekshanaha Being situated in a meditational trance, Kashyapa Muni, whose vision is never mistaken, could see that a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead had entered within him. So he's pretty advanced. Huh? A portion of the Lord's potency came inside him. Text 23. Sodityam Viryam Adatta
Sodityam Viryamadatta
Tapasachira Sambritam
Tapasachira Samritam
Samahita Manarajan
Samahita
Daruni Agnim Yathanilaha.
Manarajan.
O king, as the wind promotes friction between two pieces of wood and thus gives rise to fire, Kashyapa Muni, whose transcendental position was fully absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, transferred his potency into the womb of Aditi. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada wants to make it clear, because people will think this is like a mundane sexual behavior between Kashyapa and his wife. So Prabhupada says, here it is to be understood that the union of Kashyapa Muni and Aditi was not like the sexual intercourse of ordinary human beings. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to do with the human secretions of sexual intercourse. He is always completely aloof from such material combinations. Then he continues. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu, I'm equal to all living entities. Nonetheless, to protect the devotees and kill the demons who are disturbing element, the Lord entered the womb of Aditi. So he physically entered. It has nothing to do with sexual intercourse. Therefore, this is a transcendental pastime of the Lord. This should not be misunderstood. One should not think that the Lord became the son of Aditi the way an ordinary child is born because of sexual intercourse between men. Not like that. And then in the next paragraph he says, although the conditioned soul has nothing to do with the reproductive cells of men and women, he is placed into the proper situation because of his work. Karmana Deva Netra. So this, very important. Life is not, however, a product of two secretions, but is independent of all material elements. It is the soul that is placed according to his previous karma. Okay, and in the last verse, this is explained clearly how one is placed in different bodies. Purusha Prakriti Stohi, Bhungte Prakriti, Jan Guna, Karanam Guna Sangasya, Sarasatyo Ishu Janmas. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes. So here is associating with the three modes. And because of that, this is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil amongst various species. And then he suffers accordingly. Text, no, we'll stop here.
One or two verses.
Huh?
One or two verses.
One or two verses. Alright, text 24. Aditye distitam garbham
Aditya-dishtitam garbham
Bhagavantam sanatanam
Bhagavantam sanatanam
Hiranyagarbha vijñāya
Hiranyagarbho vijñāya
Samide Ghuya Namabihi.
Samade Guryanamavihi.
When Lord Brahma understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was now within the womb of Aditi, he began to offer prayers to the Lord by reciting transcendental names. Just like when he did for Krishna also, right? When he was in the womb of Devaki, all the demigods came to worship. Then the Prabhupada writes, and he quotes from Brahma Samhita, Eko Viso Rachiyutam Jagaranda Koti Yachakti Taksti Jagaranda Chaya Antaha Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govinda Maharaj. That means the Lord is everywhere, even inside the atom, like that. And when one chants his transcendental names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is automatically pleased by such sankirtan. Therefore, why don't you want to make the Lord happy by chanting nicely? Right? It is not that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is absent. He's always present. Right? Not like when you go to school, you're absent sometimes, right? Correct or not? When you get sick. But the Lord is never absent. He's always present. So when you take roll call, He's always present. So you can see that's what Prabhupada uses the word Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarasta. And so when you chant the name of the Lord, He is there and He is pleased. That's how you need to revise our thinking and change our heart, and then we can connect with the Lord. And we please Him simply by, Prabhupada says, chanting His holy name. Okay, so we'll stop here. In the good holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
25 tomorrow.
Haribol.
So we